In this video, I'm going to show you how to make concrete letters just like this. Supplies you'll need for this project are these cardboard letters that you can find at most craft stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I got mine online because I couldn't find a big enough size in store, so I'll have a link to those in the description of this video for you to check out. And you'll need some concrete too. I used a Quikrete 5000 mix, which worked well. I might use a finer mix in the future. You can decide what's better for you, but 5000 is good. Then you'll need a container for mixing the concrete along with some sort of stirring stick. Don't use those paint stirrers, they're not strong enough. I messed up, as you'll see. And then some optional hardware, which I'll get into later. So start by removing one side of the cardboard letters. So just take a X-Acto knife and just kind of get in there, and as you go you can just kind of peel up the cardboard as you move along and just remove the top side, so then you're kind of left with a letter mold to use to mold your concrete with. And decide now if you want the top side facing up to be the front of the letters, or if you want the side that faces down inside the mold to be the top side of your letters when you remove them, because that'll dictate whether you remove the front facing side or the back facing side of the cardboard letter. And you'll also see me hot gluing on some female threaded rods onto these letters, because I thought I may use them to then apply bolts for stakes and kind of stake these in the ground so they could stand up. I didn't end up doing that in the end, but just something to think of when you're doing this that you could possibly use is how you're planning to display these, because if you want to have kind of a rod sticking out so you can stake them in the ground so they can stand up, or whatever you're thinking, but just something to look ahead to. Next, you're going to start mixing up your concrete. Just follow the directions on the bag to mix it up appropriately. And here's where you'll see I make my mistake. This was my first time mixing concrete ever, I think, so I didn't realize that a wooden stick for mixing paint wouldn't really be strong enough to move the concrete around. So it just felt like it was going to break off and I couldn't mix the concrete appropriately. So by the time I figured it out and got a wooden shovel to mix, it had really started to kind of dry up and harden a bit. So all the small sediment just floated to the bottom and hardened into like a rock. So I was just left with kind of a thicker mix on top with more of the bigger gravel and rocks and stuff. So it kind of left me with a finish that's not very smooth, but it ended up being okay. So after you get your concrete mixed up, just go ahead and fill up the molds like you see I'm doing here, and you can vibrate the molds a little bit to get that concrete to settle in. And I don't do a great job of doing this, but press it in there down firmly and kind of smooth it off if you have the right kind of concrete tools to smooth it off, and give it a nice finish on the top, because that's what you see is what you're going to get. So let the concrete harden up for a few days, and after about 48 hours you can start removing them from the molds. And I actually let these sit for about a week, and it had the added benefit of letting the cardboard completely dry out, so it wasn't wet from the cement anymore. The cardboard was completely dry, so I was able to get the letters out without destroying the mold, so I was able to do a second set. I had kind of figured that they would be destroyed, but if you kind of carefully work them as like I'm doing here, you can reuse the molds and make another set of letters if you'd like. But just work them out and pull them out, and you'll see you get your concrete letters. They're pretty solid. I didn't even put any rebar or chicken wire or anything inside of these, and they're about an inch thick, but pretty solid as is. No, there's not really a need for any of that stuff. So this is my first set of letters done. You can see the finish is just really rough. It's not very smooth concrete at all. So I decided to try it again and mix the concrete up the right way. So this is my second batch of letters. You can already see that the finish is a lot smoother. It's not as smooth as I was really hoping for, honestly. It's more of an industrial look. So I think next time, instead of using Quikrete 5000, I'm going to use their countertop mix, or just something with less, that doesn't have as many big gravel rock pieces in it, because I just kind of want more of a finished look. But I like it. It's a good kind of outdoor industrial look this way with just kind of the standard concrete. And so this is my second pass. I've already poured the concrete, let it dry. So this is me removing the molds. And I'm not really concerned with keeping the molds at all. As you can see, this is the second time. They just weren't going to last another time. So just peeling it off is a lot easier than trying to save the molds. But I'm pretty happy with how these ones turned out. And then I just quickly wanted to show you how we chose to display these. We just kind of laid them down in our rocks and made them look almost like stepping stone pavers in this crushed up rock here. And it looks good. I'm also considering kind of just leaning them up against the wall, kind of like this, which I think looks good. Thinking of maybe doing stakes and kind of staking them in the grass too, but there's a bunch of different ways to display it, so just wanted to kind of show you guys this method of how we did it. So here is the finished project. It is at my parents' house. This was a gift for them, but we have it on display here in their front yard for all their neighbors to see. So overall, I'm really happy with the way these came out. I think they look really cool. By the way, Sisu is a Finnish word because my whole family's Finnish, and it just kind of means grit and bravery and resilience and that kind of stuff. It's a word my parents love and we always had in our kitchen when I was growing up. But that's it. Please let me know if you enjoyed this, and if you end up making this project for yourself, please share that in the comments. I'd be curious to hear. And now back to me in the studio to wrap up this video. There you have it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, maybe consider subscribing to this channel, Curiosityness, because I create helpful videos like this regularly. Like I just made a video sharing the best birthday freebies. I signed up for 76 birthday free dinners and desserts and all that kind of stuff, and went through them all and shared the top 9 that are kind of actually worth your time. So you can check that video out right up here if you're interested in seeing that. And I also have a podcast called Curiosityness where I interview interesting people who share fun topics and have good stories to tell. Like recently I talked to a Bigfoot expert and we just talked for an hour about finding Bigfoot, what we would need to find to actually prove him and stuff like that. So it was a really fun, interesting conversation. You can check that one out by clicking up here if you'd like to. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching to the end.